Ghana and EU discuss election 2016 and global terrorism.
Boosting cocoa production.
Current ECG billing software is credible, says Public Utility Workers Union.
And 5 African Union soldiers arrested in Somalia for selling military supplies.
Hello, good evening and welcome. This is News Hour live on your news channel GBC24 and GTV. My name is Akmene Avo Ajaja.
And my name is Selike Makola Chapalu. Now the news in detail.
Close to half of Ghana's export enters the EU market. Since political stability is a prerequisite for economic ties, a team of high-ranking Ghanaian officials led by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ms. Hannah Tete, and the Minister of Finance, Mr. Seth Tekbe, is holding talks with EU ambassadors from 9 West African countries on a wide range of issues, including the upcoming general elections, global terrorism and maritime security, rule of law and anti-corruption, an observer mission and support for the Electoral Commission. Monday's meeting in Accra was held behind closed doors. Moving on to some more stories, 60 million cocoa seedlings, fertilizer and other incentives are to be distributed to cocoa farmers. This program by the government is aimed at boosting production and assisting the country to overtake Côte d'Ivoire as the leading producer and exporter of cocoa in the world.
Though noted for its mining activities, New Ebrim is largely a farming community with cocoa as a major cash crop grown by the inhabitants. Their contribution to cocoa production in the country cannot be underestimated. The Farmers' Rally, organized by the Cocoa Health and Extension Division chaired of Cocoa Board, brought together more than 500 farmers from the various districts of the region. The rally served as a platform for the cocoa farmers to come out with challenges facing them in terms of production, trends in the cocoa business, and how it can be addressed. The Chief Executive, Mr. Paul Abuajidadzi, said that cocoa farmers play a very critical role in the country's socio-economic development and their efforts cannot be overlooked. The Regional Manager of CHED, Mr. Samuel Jima Jemfi, reiterated the need to ensure that farmers are educated and given the support required to increase cocoa yield.
Ghana Cocoa Board,
we want a healthy relationship between you farmers and Cocoa Board to improve crop production.
The regional chief farmer, Nana Obing Akrofi, cautioned his fellow cocoa farmers against any attempt by individuals and organizations to lure them to give their lands out for mining activities in exchange of large sums of money.
We should not sell our cocoa farms to Galamsey operators because they destroy our land.
The Eastern Regional Minister, Ms. Mavis Amafrimpon, lauded cocoa farmers, stressing that it is through their efforts that Ghana has developed its infrastructure.
We will encourage you to work harder to improve Ghana's cocoa yield.
Yes, Ghana, dear. From generation to generation.
The Eastern Regional Minister presented 10 boxes of cutlasses to the over 500 cocoa farmers.
Now, the New Patriotic Party is calling on the youth to seize the opportunity in this year's election to mobilize for change. At a news conference here in Accra, the national youth organizer of the party, Mr. Samuel Wuku, said a report by the World Bank shows that about 48% of the youth in the country are unemployed.
Hopes were once again dashed when a few days ago, the famous Commander Sugar Factory, which was commissioned by President Mahama, had to be shut down barely 48 hours after operation. Indeed, as it turned out to be, what President Mahama commissioned amid all the pomp and pageantry was another NDC propaganda hub and not a sugar production hub. All across the country, from the Volta region to the northern region, the youth, especially the many young people who voted for the younger President Mahama, have regretted doing so because not only has the president not delivered on his promises, he has actually killed the little hope that was there. Let's rest assured that an Akufo-Addo government and an administration under the NPP leadership will, in like manner, deliver on the promise of restoring both the teacher and nursing training allowance, establish the Zongo Development Fund as part of our broader inner city development strategy, give priority to agriculture and value addition in agriculture as tool for job creation, and also create an enhanced employment tax credit scheme to provide incentives for companies which will employ fresh graduates.
Education bill seeking to reconcile the Ghana Education Service Act 506 and the Education Act 778 is expected to make its way to Parliament this year. The objective is to reconcile the two acts, which according to experts contradict in several ways. Discussions have opened in Accra on ways to streamline the laws in order to achieve efficiency in the management of human and material resources. Shirley Annan has the details of that story.
The Draft Education Bill 2015 seeks to reconcile the Ghana Education Service Act of 1995, Act 506, and the Education Act of 2008, Act 778, which are said to be contradictory in several ways. Currently, the education system allows municipal assemblies to carry out administrative duties, while important decision-making about teachers, the curriculum and funding comes from the headquarters in Accra. This system challenges the management of finance, human resource, and which, according to experts, affects the quality of education offered students. Countries like South Africa and Ethiopia have chalked successes with the decentralization of the educational system, with the decentralization of function, community financing, and the PTA managing and financing school projects. Dr. Esther Ofeabuaji believes that the success in these countries can be achieved here with the passage of the bill in Ghana.
While arrangements for decentralizing education vary, there is international evidence that moving responsibilities to the district and school levels can improve accountability and performance. When teacher recruitment, evaluation, transfer, and salaries are decentralized, along with other responsibilities, there will be increased time on task, as teachers will not have to abandon their classes in pursuit of their conditions and their entitlements at the national and regional levels. Education decentralization must be considered in the larger context of other reforms, and perhaps the Ugandan story provides one of the most valuable lessons because of the similarities in its administrative decentralization experience.
The Executive Council Chair of the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, Mr. Bright Appiah, said the current regime is too bureaucratic, and this results in delays in school subventions and leakages in the distribution of resources. In a response to the challenges in the educational sector, the Deputy Minister for Education in charge of tertiary, Mr. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, called for attitudinal change in the sector to promote quality delivery.
It is important for us to admit that there has been some progress, except that the progress has been slow. I'm referring to the GES structures, which you will find in every district in our country. All the 216 districts in Ghana have a functioning district education office that is manned by Ghana Education Service officials. We then also ask that governing boards be established in all our schools, in all our basic schools.
For GBC24, Shelley Annan reporting.
We now take you up north. The aquaculture sector comprises largely small-scale farmers who practice extensive aquaculture in earthen ponds, in contrast to the intensive practices of commercial farmers. At a meeting in Tamale on aquaculture, appeals were made for regular interactions in capacity building of farmers to open up the sector considered lucrative in a region with huge potentials but lacking the needed skills.
The forum, which was under the theme Exploring the Potential of Aquaculture Development in Northern Ghana, brought together farmers from the 3 regions of the north. A message from the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development said fish production in the country has declined and therefore
The aquaculture sector comprises largely small-scale farmers who practice extensive aquaculture in earthen ponds, in contrast to the practices of commercial farmers. At a meeting in Tamale on aquaculture, appeals were made for regular interactions and capacity building of farmers to open up the sector considered lucrative in the region.
The forum, which was under the theme Exploring the Potential of Aquaculture Development in Northern Ghana, brought together farmers from the 3 regions of the north. A message from the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development said fish production in the country has declined and therefore the need for a concerted effort by stakeholders along the value chain to make the sector vibrant.
The Regional Coordinating Council assures Global Affairs Canada is coordinating and implementing agencies of the necessary support in the enabling environment for them to successfully roll out their plans and programs, thereby contributing to national programs to address poverty in the region and Ghana as a whole.
The Chief Executive of the Association of Church-Based Development Project, ACDEP, Mr. Males Alebikia, said the 3 regions of the north have the potential to reduce poverty and increase nutrition in their diet if they engage in aquaculture.
We hope we can fashion out, sharing all our experiences in a very passionate and honest way, how we can develop aquaculture in the 3 northern regions. The potential and the effect and the impact of it on livelihood and on our environment, and in the context that our food security is threatened by the climatic change, where livestock production is limited, crop production is limited, then we have to look somewhere. And I think we have the potential to look somewhere.
You're watching Is Our Live on your news channel GBC24 and GTV.
We'll be joined shortly by Emmanuel Amegashi to give us the business news. We'll be right back. Do stay.
Ministry of Power with funding from the World Bank.
The third billing software, which is called Commercial Management System, CMS for short, was procured for ECG under the second phase of GDAP, which is a project anchored at the Ministry of Power with funding from the World Bank. Accordingly, we are using this medium to serve notice to all government institutions that are owing ECG and those who are not on prepaid meters to take note that we are going to embark on a massive disconnection exercise with effect from 20th June 2016 to retrieve all arrears and ensure that going forward, all such institutions pay for the power they consume every month.
On the issue of privatization of ECG, Mr. Kwame Nabonzi-Kwe said ECG can do better if it is given the same concession promised the private company expected to take over the company.
The government should provide the same conditions promised the private investor to create the enabling environment necessary to enable any company to operate efficiently. Payment of GOG debts and energy consumed by MMDAs, review of tariff structure to cover all cost arrears, and possible payment of under recoveries due to exchange losses incurred by ECG in paying some of the IPPs in foreign currency.
The Public Utilities Workers Union say they are poised to serve customers better. However, they are limited by inadequate logistics. They are therefore appealing to management to fast-track plans to provide them with the needed logistics. The union is also appealing to customers of ECG to be patient as the physical assault meted out to their colleagues is getting out of hand.
To Tema now, where Nestle Ghana has inaugurated a water treatment plant to recycle wastewater from the company. The move fulfills the company's commitment to ensure that it reduces the environmental impact of its operations in its catchment area. Moving on, as part of its corporate social responsibility, Vivo Energy Ghana has, in commemoration of the World Environmental Day, partnered the chiefs and people of Atukpai in the Greater Accra region to undertake a cleanup exercise and health screening for the people in the community.
Atukpai is a suburb of Accra and one of the 7 quarters of Gamashi in the Ngilichak-Gono electoral area and the Ududodiudio constituency. It has a population of over 500 people who are mainly traders. Most of the country's top boxers hail from Atukpai. Many big companies are also located in this area, but the sanitation situation here is nothing to write home about. This poses health hazards to the people, especially in the rainy season. To ensure that the Atukpai community is spick and span, Vivo Energy Ghana collaborated with the chief and people to desilt the gutters and sweep the community. Vivo Energy embarked on the exercise in commemoration of the World Environment Day. The cleanup, which fell on the National Sanitation Day, is part of the company's corporate social responsibility. The day was also used to screen the people for blood pressure, heartbeat rate, weight, height, body mass index, and body fat index. The communications manager of Vivo Energy Ghana, Mrs. Shirley Tony Kum, spoke about the exercise.
Vivo Energy, our CSR focus area includes environment. So on this day, staff decided to come out together with our community, partner with them and clean our area. After this cleanup exercise, we are all going to converge. There's a team of medical professionals. Vivo Energy's company's health advisor is together with them. They are going to provide medical services. In addition, there's also going to be a health talk.
The chief of Atukpai, Ni Tetechu, thanked Vivo Energy Ghana for the gesture.
Nije here na yo fale fimo here loko ka ke ta frache enyo njibu no ba no ba sai ko subule nche no onyo ke ya ke ba je no atawo no sa ko nje mo fi fele ke fi fine.
The Minister for Youth and Sports, Nilanti Vanderpool, who is also the MP for the Dodiodio constituency, advised the people to keep the environment clean.
We made an appeal to Vivo to support us in our National Sanitation Day program, and they decided that they also want to support the community in an health education and health screening exercises. We want to thank Vivo for this corporate social responsibility, but we will say that this should not be the first and the last. We hope that this will be the beginning of a further relationship between us so that we can enhance the relationship that has existed since the time of Shell till these days of Vivo.
The company also presented 10 waste bins to the Atukpai community. Vivo Energy Ghana, the company that distributes and markets Shell-branded fuels and lubricants, changed its name from Shell Ghana to Vivo Energy Ghana in August 2013. The Shell brand has been in Ghana for 85 years.
Now back to our earlier story on Nestle Ghana, where it has inaugurated a water treatment plant to recycle wastewater from the company. The move fulfills the company's commitment to ensure that it reduces the environmental impact of its operations in its catchment area.
Water is one main component in the production line of Nestle Ghana. At every stage in the production of their dry beverage, Nestle produces wastewater which hitherto was discharged without being recycled. Having acquired the International Standard Organization certification based on their commitment to the environment, Nestle further invested 3.5 million Swiss francs in a wastewater treatment plant. The plant uses ultrafiltration reverse osmosis system to improve the quality of wastewater from the factory. The system enables the factory to reuse 30% of the treated water for non-core activities and reduce the total factory water consumption by 10%. The managing director of Nestle Ghana, Mrs. Freda Duplan, said the facility serves as a conservation mechanism on the use of water and makes the wastewater discharge environmentally friendly.
Nestle has made a strong commitment to environmental and social sustainability necessary for operating our factories and for the sustainable growth and development of the communities and countries in which we operate. Our environmental sustainability commitment involves substantial training and education of people inside and outside Nestle, as well as large investments in technology with lower environmental impact.
The Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Mr. Mama Ayariga, said the protection of the environment is a collective responsibility and the move by Nestle must be commended.
I'm very, very excited and happy that one of the leading companies in this country is again leading the way in showing the rest of industry what to do to enable us to live up to our commitments under the Sustainable Development Goals, which is to use water sustainably by recycling what you have used and reuse as much as you can, and what you discharge into the environment should comply with the standards that have been set by the Environmental Protection Agency.
The Minister of State at the Presidency, Mr. Akwesi Oponfusu, said government is poised to achieving the Sustainable Development Goal, and the contribution of industries like Nestle in mitigating environmental impact is worth emulating.
Now to the interbank market, where the pound sterling sold at 5 cedis 59 pesos. The US dollar is trading at 3 cedis 85 pesos, and the euro is also selling at 4 cedis 36 pesos. The rates up next. Now, on the commodity market, all the major trading commodities gained. Light crude gained $1.12 to trade at $49.74 per barrel. Gold appreciated by $3.10 to trade at $1,243.20 an ounce. The numbers up next. Insurance news is next. Insurance in Ghana is not good. I will not sign on to any insurance policy again due to my personal experience. The processes to make the claims are laborious. These are some of the sentiments expressed by a section of the public in Accra about the experience they have had when they dealt with insurance companies. To some, the mention of insurance ignites a sense of resentment and anger.
Financial experts say insurance suffers from two key problems in terms of customer experience. It's a product people are obliged to have rather than want. That is in the case of motor insurance. On the other hand, policyholders on rare occasions do interact with the provider on matters bordering on claims process or receiving a renewal notice, often accompanied by an increase in premium. Also, sometimes customers expect simple and speedy settlements of processes, but this drag on for months and even years, thus contributing to the low patronage of insurance products in Ghana. This negative impression was evident when GBC24 sampled views on insurance in Accra.
For me, in Ghana, it's better to do a fixed deposit, and then when you need the money, you go for it, than to go and do insurance. It doesn't work in Ghana. In other parts of the world, it works, but not in Ghana.
I have a policy with one of them. I don't have a policy document. I asked them to do only one policy for me. They are doing one, deducting me from controller, and then another one deducting me from the bank. The second one, when I went to them and I told them that they are deducting me and I don't have policy document for them, they told me I was lying. So I have to get all my pay slips and then my bank statement and send to them for them to check. And when they check, they realize that it's true. They've been deducting me for some years now without me having a policy document, and they know I don't have policy with them. Now, when I asked them to give me back my money, they said they will give me back the exact money I have contributed up to the time I confronted them.
While others were satisfied with the services of insurance companies, others too were not happy.
With the funeral policy, I think it was good. When my mother died, they didn't keep long. They didn't waste time in giving me my benefits. So I think it's good.
On my part, they came in, gave me a form to fill, and then apparently I was in a hurry to go on assignment. So I just filled the form, then the lady told me to do the rest by herself. So having that trust for her, I decided that, okay, then she can do it. Apparently when she went, she added certain things, and before I realized, they were deducting certain amounts from my salary.
But a director at the Ghana Insurance College, Mr. Justice Ofori, says insurance is very crucial for every individual and all must embrace it due to life's uncertainty.
Insurance is there to take care of accidental events, which nobody plans for. I mean, nobody plans for death. Nobody plans to get sick. So you need that. These are some of the differences between insurance.
He called on the Ghana Insurance Commission and insurance companies to intensify education to enlighten the public on insurance.
People don't understand the mechanism of insurance. We take small premiums and we provide you a very big protection. To do so, it means we have to manage the money very well. So when there's a claim, insurance company don't just go out and pay. We need to investigate and make sure that we are paying legitimate claims, else insurance will become a way of defrauding the system. And that is where sometimes people think insurance companies are quick to collect premiums, but they are slow in payment. It's all because we have to investigate before we pay.
Experts are of the view that insurance companies need to develop the right environment to handle issues raised by customers and put in the right measures to address them. This, they say, will go a long way to erase the erroneous perception the public have about insurance.
Insurance News was brought to you by SIC Live. We take a break. Health is next.
Welcome back now to some health news brought to you by FPAC. There are reports of an outbreak of the yellow fever disease in the Bunwahafo and Volta regions. 4 cases have been reported so far, 3 in the Jama and South district of the Bunwahafo region and 1 in the Central Tong district of the Volta region. The Ghana Health Service says there is no need to panic over the outbreak since the cases are confined to a few communities in the affected regions, which saw widespread vaccination against yellow fever 4 years ago in a countrywide immunization exercise. Earlier, we spoke to the Volta Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Joseph Nwete, on the disease and why it has surfaced in the country now.
This issue about outbreak in Volta region is a bit, as we can say, it occurred earlier in the year, like 3 months ago, when we had a case, a 60-year-old man who resides and works in Ebuakwa in Ashanti region, but hails from Befe in the North Town district, visited home and he visited home on the 28th of February. Then on 4th of March, he fell ill. That's when he noticed the jaundice. So he reported at Adidome Hospital. And they suspected yellow fever, so they took the specimen, which was later confirmed to be yellow fever. But before he came home, he had signs and symptoms of what appeared to be malaria. When it occurred, we put the whole community on surveillance, and we can confirm that there was no new case. There are 3 types of yellow fever. The forest type, which is called the sylvatic type, the intermediate type, which is found around the savanna areas, and then the urban type. But the cases we normally get are the forest type or the sylvatic type, which normally occurs in forest areas. So people who reside close to forest areas from time to time may come up with these things. With the initial signs and symptoms will come out like any infectious disease. Fever, chills, bodily pains, at times you have nausea, vomiting, headache, bodily pains here and there, and general malaise. And then that is after 3 to 6 days, the incubation period is 3 to 6 days after the contact with the virus. That's when these signs and symptoms begin to come up. And then those who end up with some complications may have jaundice. The jaundice may be light or may be heavy, depending on one's immune system and one's proneness to complications. As we protect ourselves from malaria, from mosquito bites, that is the best way to go. People must use mosquito nets, they must use mosquito repellent, they must use netting, and avoid contact with sitting outside at night and at dark places where they will be prone to mosquito bites.
In a related development, the Public Health Department of the Ghana Health Service says the reported cases of yellow fever in parts of the country cannot be classified as an outbreak. The Director of Public Health, Dr. Bedu Sarkodie, said the cases call for concern but should not be hyped to cause fear. Dr. Sarkodie told Radio Ghana that those infected might have missed the vaccination exercise carried out in those 5 regions some years ago. Very soon, the use of mobile phones and other communication technologies to provide clinical health care will be scaled up to reach every rural community. If well implemented, primary health care will be accessible to rural, hard-to-reach communities by 2017. Ahead of the full implementation of a pilot telemedicine project has been successfully undertaken by the Ghana Health Service in the Amansie West District of the Ashanti region. GBC24 has learned the results are very revealing. Sarah Ofori has the story.
Health experts say 4 out of 5 deaths globally are attributed to non-communicable diseases occurring in areas without access to quality health care. They also estimate that non-communicable diseases will cost the world in excess of $47 trillion over the next 2 decades if not mitigated. Telemedicine, hence digital healthcare, is the use of telecommunications and information communications technologies to provide clinical health care.
We believe that the telemedicine can help us. We expect that in the district, even when we take x-rays, we'll be able to communicate to the Center for Interpretations and then send them back, because we can't have the specialists everywhere.
The Novartis Foundation, in collaboration with the Ghana Health Service and other partners, initiated a pilot telemedicine project in the Amansia West district in the Ashanti region. About 32,000 people from remote and hard-to-reach areas received primary health care and subsequent referrals to teleconsultation centers. The project reduced unnecessary referrals to tertiary healthcare facilities by 31%. Again, about 1,500 people are being enrolled on a community-based hypertension improvement program in the Lower Manya Krobo district. Those enrolled will be empowered to self-manage their condition. These and many other pilot health interventions, according to head of the Novartis Foundation, Dr. Ann Ertz, should be scaled up to cover the whole country and sustained.
The current health systems in low and middle income countries are very insufficiently prepared also to address this dual burden. And then if you look at the world map and the number of population per doctor, you see how unequally it is divided. So we have to do something differently to address that double burden of disease. And we don't have time to lose because the problem is already here.
The throng of experts agreed that the scaling up from pilots require restructuring, which often does not come cheap.
When we lament the fact that programs have not scaled, we sometimes fail to acknowledge that those programs were not built to scale. And I show this bridge made of toothpicks because I think it gives a very nice example of what a bridge will look like. We can even take a toy car and drive it across the bridge and demonstrate that this bridge works. But now if you tell me to take this bridge and install it over the largest man-made lake in Ghana, that's not going to work. And we have to rebuild this out of bricks and mortar and steel beams in order for it to support the kind of mobile traffic that we want it to have.
With an estimated 6.8 billion mobile cellular subscribers, digital healthcare suitably is the most effective form of accessing medical services in remote rural communities, eliminating distance barriers. Sustainability of digital healthcare also requires that manpower is trained and optimization of telecommunications infrastructure to facilitate the transmission of data. Sarah Fori, GBC24, Accra.
And that wraps up the health news by kindness of FPAC. We will be back with what's happening on the international front. Do stay.
Welcome back to the news. In the international segment, 5 soldiers with the African Union mission in Somalia and 10 Somalis have been arrested for selling military equipment. Police say they were found with improvised detonators, fuel sandbags and empty ammunition boxes. AMISOM has not commented beyond saying it is trying to confirm the arrests. This is the first time African Union troops have been arrested in Somalia since the mission was established 9 years ago. The authorities say the 5 AU soldiers are from Uganda, which sends the largest number of troops to the mission out of the 5 contributing countries. And in Kenya, at least 1 person was shot dead and another 20 were injured at an opposition rally for electoral reforms in Western Kenya. In the capital, Nairobi, hundreds of opposition supporters marched to the headquarters of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, waving tree branches and signs. The called opposition coalition is demanding electoral reforms ahead of the 2017 national polls, including the dissolution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Board, which the opposition says is biased in favor of the ruling Jubilee coalition. We'll be back shortly with sports. To stay.
Hello, good evening. Let's talk sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. The under 13, 15, and 17 teams of Lizzie Sports Complex are winners of the first Marcel Desailly Cup. A football competition over the weekend saw the teams sweep all the trophies at stake. It was a two-day football fiesta at the Lizzie Sports Complex in Accra when the first Marcel Desailly Cup was staged. The competition by ex-France captain Marcel Desailly was to give under 17, under 15 and under 13 teams real tournament experience. The under 17 competition had 8 teams, namely Lizzie Sports FA, SAC Academy, Fudem FC and Zinabs FC. The rest were Cantonment FC, Astros FC, FC Basakets and Match FC competing. The final was between Lizzie Sports FA in the blue jersey and Match FC. After 1-1 draw, the winner was decided through penalty kicks. Lizzie Sports FA goalkeeper saved one to hand his team the victory. Certificates and souvenirs were presented to deserving players. Winners had gold medals, certificates and the glittering trophy at stake. The organizer, former captain of the French national football team, Marcel Desailly, said he was happy at the quality displayed. Ex-Black Stars captain Stephen Appiah received kits for the upcoming Unity football match. The kit sponsor of the event, Adidas, made a presentation in Accra. The items included Adidas branded footballs, jerseys, training babes, hotel wears, warm-up kits and footwears. The country manageress of Adidas Ghana, Valerie Gaja, applauded the initiative of the Vodafone Unity match and added Adidas was happy to be associated with the event. The CEO of Primeval Media, Larry Opariotu, was grateful. Appiah called on all to turn up in their numbers as they will give them the best. The Vodafone Unity match will see a Stephen Appiah-led World 11 side come up against Kumasi Asante Kotoko and the Black Stars on the 8th of June in Kumasi and the 11th at the Accra Sports Stadium. The matches will be live on GTV Sports Plus.
In the arts and entertainment segment, Bright, the only surviving member of the music group Bookback, and Promzi of VIP fame have confirmed they are coming together to form a new group, BP. On entertainment and arts news, we take you on a musical journey that has Bright and Promzi on the ride.
The Winkle Weather Report, brought to you by RMG Ghana Limited, with technical support from the Ghana Meteorological Agency.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the weather report brought to you by RMG Ghana Limited. For the forecast for tonight till tomorrow in the morning, the weather will remain cloudy, dull, with slight rain occurring over the coastal and the middle sector. But the northern sector, we expect partly cloudy conditions over those areas. Temperatures will be 26 over the north, 22 over the middle, 24 along the coastal strip, with isolated cases of rain and thunder prevailing over upper east, upper west and part of northern region. The sea is pretty cool for fishing, but call Met Office on 0302 777 172. For the afternoon, partly cloudy to cloudy conditions are expected to prevail over the 10 regions. Temperatures will be as high as 34 over the north, 32 over the middle sector, and then 30 along the coastal strip. Now, for the afternoon, we have some system which is approaching the country, the rain storm. This very one, it looked very severe, and it's going to push westward, or it's going to move westward to affect the country. So please be by your radio, be by your television, or even contact the NADMO offices, because GMET is going to issue weather warning in relation to this very storm. Whether it will affect us or not, we'll keep you updated based on those things. So that's how it's going to be from now till tomorrow. Up on the screen is the forecast for the next 48 hours. Climatologically, June is a rainy month, so please, before you step out, make sure you have an umbrella or a raincoat. Till we meet same time, miss. Bye for now.
Thank you for staying through this news bulletin with us. We'll be back with news tonight
at 10:30. Do join us then.